Oh, I
Hang
forgot
on.
that I was
I
being
can say
recorded.
it. Now we are live. Here we go.
I
Yes, this is it. All right. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Now I've got to change this here so you can see both of us on there. All right. Amalia and Natalio of Karmic Kindness and Madeleine Parker joining me. We are so excited to share with you the Leo full moon cosmic chat energy forecast. And there's so much to talk about. I feel like Madeleine is going to have plenty to share. I have like there's been so much information circulating around me. I had to be somewhat discerning in what I talk about, or we're going to be on for like 5 hours today. So let's just go with the basics for the moment. This Leo full moon will be occurring on February 12th at 8:53 a.m. Eastern, which would be 5:53 a.m. Pacific at 24 degrees 5 minutes. Leo. Okay. As a Leo sun sign myself, I love Leo. Leo is just this very creative and heart forward, very individual, unique, bold, like vivacious kind of energy. Now, because we have the moon in Leo and we have the sun in Aquarius, as we have these opposing energies and forces for every full moon, there's I don't want to say tension so much, but kind of when it comes to this Leo energy of the heart and the Aquarian energy of the head. And that I'm noticing is kind of a thematic that I'll be sharing with the moon aspects for this moon cycle. And I kind of want to bring this into your awareness as we start, because the Aquarius new moon, the last cosmic chat that we talked about was the big question that I left everyone with, and I think Madeleine did too in her own way, is what's your big vision of the future? Like, what's that big vision? And now let's build on that story and think about this Leo full moon energy and think about it highlighting something. We're fine tuning that vision with heart, and maybe highlighting this full moon might be highlighting some area of this big vision that can be more heart centered, more heart forward. And I feel like that's a lot of what we're experiencing right now as a collective, is a lot more heart based businesses, heart based initiatives, things that really are connecting all of us in the heart, through the heart. Happily, we've got a lot of forward planetary movement, and all the planets are moving forward at the time of this full moon, except Mars. Mars is still retrograde until the 23rd of February. Leo energy, obviously the heart is big, but also the blood. So for anyone that is keeping track of the sensitivities for these moon cycles, your heart rate, blood circulation, blood pressure, be aware of that. There might be some heightened blood pressure activity. I'm going to be mentioning this to my mom since that's a thing for her these days. And then we've got, okay, let me talk about the aspects a little bit. And I have some other fun stuff to share. I somewhat alluded to that in the chat on the live. So as I mentioned before, we have the moon opposing the sun. The moon is in Leo, the sun is in Aquarius. It's that head and heart dichotomy there. We also have the moon opposing Mercury in Aquarius. And on the last moon cycle that we talked about, the Aquarius new moon, Mercury and the sun and moon were conjunct. And now we have a very different energy of opposition. So that Leo moon energy craves acknowledgement and wants to be seen. And then the Mercury in Aquarius has this more detached, a rational, focused kind of energy. So we've got a little bit of, again, that head and heart dilemma, where emotional expression might clash with logical thinking, and this could lead to disagreements or conflicts. So just be aware of that. And then we have the moon square Uranus in Taurus. So this, Taurus has everything to do with security, stability, material possessions, value, worth. There could be sudden shifts that occur prompted by some sort of emotional tension or expression in some way that is almost like the last domino falls and then the rest just kind of go. So that's another energy to be aware of. So, you know, not too many aspects to the moon, but the ones that are there are ones that really will shift you. Those oppositions and squares will course correct, whether you like it or not. That will happen. Really quickly, I'm going to share the impact chart, and let's see here, so you guys can kind of see where, you know, who's going to be affected the most. I love to give this visual for folks so they can see. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Hold on 1 second. I have too many charts up. 1 second. Let's get the correct one up here. Oh, I see why. Hold on 1 second. Got to go back over here. It's because the YouTube live came up over that one screen. I just want to make sure I have the right one to share with you guys. Yes, yes, perfect. Here we go. All right, so here's the impact chart. So for those who have any points or planets at 19 to 29 degrees of the fixed signs, so you'll see here Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, 19 to 29 degrees, you will be noticing some shifts, maybe feeling some discomfort. I have a lot of fixity in my chart. So I am already feeling some of the effects of this Leo full moon, some emotional activation, some head and heart conflict, where in my head I'm thinking one thing, but my heart, my body is telling me something different, and trying to find that equilibrium in that discomfort. So just an awareness for folks when that may come up. And I also wanted to bring in one more little thing, and then I'm going to zip my mouth and let Madeleine share a little bit here. You know, as those of you who may or may not know the work I do, I touch in on astrology. Definitely not as well versed as Madeleine. Madeleine has got the transits and the energies of all the different aspects down to a science, bringing in the tarot as well for her as a really beautiful partnership of information. And I have a little bit of a different take. So I'm taking bits of astrology, bits of soul contract, bits of human design, and bits of the gene keys, as well as galactic astrology, which is looking more at some of the your origins, your galactic origins, and even dwarf planets, and bringing all of those pieces together. The gene keys, which is basically a living transmission, it's based on planetary activations and the points that are based on astrology, but also on the I Ching, which is an ancient oracle text, and the genetic makeup, how our genes are turned on and how we are shifting our DNA in ways that we may not be consciously aware, but are happening on a global, collective, galactic scale. And I wanted to bring up one of the gene keys, and I'm going to share a photo here of a card that I think will really illustrate this, so everyone can kind of connect with what I'm saying and sharing while you're looking at what this is about. This gene key 49, and there's 64, 1 through 64, and I can share more about this on a separate video, but the gene key 49 is activated where the sun is going to be in this part of the sky, because again, this is also based on astrology, at the time of this new moon, or I'm sorry, full moon. And if you can, as you can see here, we have these 3 levels of energy and experience that we have the potential to have. Reaction is the shadow. So it's that where we're reacting to things that come up. And because this is the moon, is going to also be a part of the story here, there's going to be this emotional sense. Where does that reaction lead to revolution, to something different? And that doesn't necessarily mean fighting or war. It could be just like a change in perspective, a change in how we see things, ultimately leading to rebirth, which is the highest energetic potential that exists. So I just love the robust, rich nature of contemplation that the gene keys can bring to us without getting too overwhelmed with all of the other aspects and things that are happening in the sky. This, I feel like, can really hone it down. If you want to just take away one thing, it's just to be aware of this going on at that time. you might feel this in your solar plexus, which is an energy center in just a little bit above your belly button, below your heart. Again, there's a little bit of that heart connection. And I also love how, when you think about Leo energy, it's very bold and courageous. And oftentimes there's a level of independence that comes from taking that bold path. And so this is connected to the channel of independence, which, again, here, changing the world from the inside. It's like that inside out type of energy. So I could go on and on about this. This is a deck that was created by Elijah Wood and Richard Rudd, who was the author of the Gene Keys. And I just thought it would give everyone just a little bit of another flavor of the energy of this moon cycle, and where the sun is. And the sun is the energy of like our collective experience as well. So I think that about does it. What did you think of the Gene Keys, Madeline?
Those are interesting. I think those are interesting cards. I think that it's interesting that you got that yellow chakra for this new full moon, because that is definitely the chakra related to Leo. So, and then you got the independent section, which really relates more to the Uranian aspect and the Aquarius sun. So I thought that was kind of, how did you choose that card for this full moon? Did you just randomly pull that card and it showed up,
No,
or that result is that for Leo card or something?
that is where the sun is going to be at the time of the full moon.
So
So it's
that card
on
is like
astrology.
24 degrees Aquarius, basically.
Well, it's basically that energy runs for 6 days, and each day the energy slightly shifts, but I didn't want to get too in the weeds of all the details of it. But that's the overarching energy from, I think, the 7th through the 12th. So it shifts that day, but not before.
So there's a card for 7 days. For each 7 days, there's a different card?
For each six days.
Each 6 days. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
And
yeah.
relate
So
to the where the sun is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you can look and see, where all the planets are at a given time. But, focusing on, for me, this has kind of been my contemplation, and Richard Rudd also, he shares this every 6 days, and an email that he sends out to people. And then I even have it on my calendar. Like, so I can see for the entire year beyond exactly what gene key is in there. And then on some of my software platforms, I can also see. So it's, similar to astrology, you could really go deep into the symbology, but the gene keys work is really meant to be an inner contemplation, to really just be with the energy and see how it shows up in your life, and how you can shift how you're approaching things. And, if anyone's interested, take a peek at any of my social media platforms. I share about the gene keys every shifting 6-day cycle, and we can talk more about it. I'd love to bring more of this into it for people that might be interested. And and then obviously the flowers too, because the flowers can be so supportive, regardless what system you're looking at. But because the gene keys and astrology are connected, they're not quite the same, but they're connected. I think it's a beautiful I think partnership for people when they're looking at their astrology, and maybe bringing in just that one bit of the gene keys to help them, navigate what might be coming up for them. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that would look like an interesting thing if you wanted to use astrology, but you didn't really understand it or use it, those cards would probably be very helpful.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah, interesting.
All right.
All
So
right.
Madeline, do you want to kind of give an overview, and then
Yeah.
after you give an overview, I'll share the flower, and then we'll jump into.
All right. I can, first of all, you said Leo new moon, 24 degrees, 24, what you say, 6? I have 6, 24, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to quickly say that this is a full moon related very much to that new moon that happened August 4th, because I know for me, things are happening right now. And you could already basically start to see some of this full moon happening a few days before, even a week before. So, and I can see a relationship for something that started around the new moon in August 4th for me. So I think a lot of people might find, if you go back and look at your emails, your photos, your text, you might see some some new development, a new communication coming in around that time, which now bears some sort of a culmination, results. And this is an interesting new moon that I will show the chart for. Full moon, sorry, full moon. Because it is, as you mentioned, squaring Uranus, which is so the ruler of this new moon is the sun, right? So the sun, so we always look and see where the sun is. Your sun is in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. So and Saturn. So we're going to look at so the sun is ruling this full moon, and the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, and it's being squared by the ruling planet of Aquarius. So
Mhm.
this is a life shifting, as many other transits are going on that are shifting our lives in big ways. So this is going to be but this is one of what we call the wild card. You can't really see it. You can feel this one. I bet most people can feel a big shift, a big change. This is surprising. This is not what you expect. It's a change of direction, change of mind, as you mentioned, but it's basically a surprise, shift, breakthroughs, being stuck in a situation. I have a friend who is about to travel around this full moon, and she's been feeling really stuck in the snow. So this is like a full moon there where there is some sort of release, set free. Now, yes, full moons bring tension, strife, culminations. There could be endings of friendship. This is a Leo full moon, so it's all things Leo, friendships, romance. Sex is the fifth house as well. What else is Leo? Children, teaching, creativity, creative self-expression, passion. It is very romantic full moon as well. That is very much part of this energy. Creative co-collaborative projects, entrepreneurship, like you said, bold initiative, having complete confidence in ourselves now from that new moon. So that new moon that began in August would have initiated something we weren't fully confident about. Now there's a confident upgrade here. But the main exciting thing about this full moon, because if you look at where the ruler of the full moon is, and it's in the nakshatra of Dhanishta, which is, let me read you what it says, quick notes on that, because I'm always loving to work with these. So Dhanishta it's the planet of the wealthiest, and it's the planet of wealth and fame. And it has to do with a drum, beating of a drum. It's part of the nakshatra that a lot of people who have this in their chart have really good rhythm. I have it on my Saturn, and I think I'm pretty good with rhythm. But basically what it is, it's a very energetic action. It's ruled by Mars. It's Marilyn Monroe had this on her moon. So this is like people who are very motivated, get out there, but it is also very, very lucky and wealthy and fame. So
And where is this, Madeline? Can you remind me?
yeah, this is the nakshatra where the sun is.
Oh,
So
where the sun is. Okay, so in
yes,
Aquarius.
lunar
Okay,
mansion of the sun. It's at 24 degrees Aquarius, which is the nakshatra of Dhanishta. It's the lunar mansion. So it
gotcha.
gives an added character or depth to the understanding the situation. So this is a very, very auspicious, abundant, very good full moon for many reasons, that being one of them. But the other one is that usually Uranus is a positive energy, but it can bring, these squares are often can be crisis and endings, radical, sudden endings of friendships and relationships and romance or creative projects that weren't going anything. So so that a culmination can play out in two ways. It can play out in the way of, can play out through a friendship turns into a relationship, or a relationship ends and then a new friendship or new relationship comes in on this full moon, or the right one. I just heard from somebody saying they had fallen in love with somebody and they were married or had another relationship. So good chance the other one is going to culminate into goodbye, and the new one brings its presence in. So this is the time of radical change. We're at changing eras. We're moving into the new era already. We're seeing the shift right now. As you said, all planets are direct. We are starting to get on that path now where we're starting to move into the new era. We're all about to, everybody's lives are changing directions. We're very likely not going to recognize our life today in a year from now. I mean, it's going to be very different. So
Wow.
Yeah, this full moon is literally like the bringings on or the culmination or the arrival of some sort of benefic outcome of previous efforts and previous things around at that new moon or other perhaps further back new moons in Leo in the fixed signs that bring expansion, liberation, freedom from breakthroughs. Basically, it's the breakthrough. It's something showing up that creates a breakthrough. Like, for instance, ending one relationship and starting another one. You've broken free from one situation and we're now expanding and the sun is like when there's a full moon ruled by the sun, I mean, it is fun, it is joy, it is romance. I mean, it is vitality, is new inspiration, new Leo is the leader. It's taking, like you say, bold initiatives to take these new something that is showing up in our lives, because this full moon is going to show something up in our lives, and then we're going to be like, wow, this is and like it course corrects, it changes our direction, it emancipates us, it brings us liberation. It can bring a lot of financial abundance depending on where this is hitting in your own personal chart. If a crisis occurs, let that thing go. Let whatever needs to end go away right now. It's not a part of our future destiny. And then this is very, very much connected to creative projects. So, for instance, if it's a relationship and a true love relationship comes in now, that's because you have some sort of collaborative. It could even be a child. You have a destiny to have a child because Leo is pregnancy and children, having babies. So. I don't know why I'm sharing the chart now. Oh, that's right. I was showing the aspects. I suddenly thought, I suddenly got, I've got this Neptune squaring my sun with Chiron squaring Mars on my chart. So I'm like, well, like I said, I fell the other day. So anyway, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yes, thankfully,
Anyway,
Natalie's
yes.
okay.
Yes, I'm fine. So back to, yes, I want to show a couple things. So we have, there it is, there's the Uranian square, but then we have this trine from the south node, which really should be showing a sextile from the north, but it's not picking it up for some reason, but it's there. And then we have this Pluto. I'm not really concerned about Pluto in this. I don't know why that's showing up. But anyway, the main one is here and the sextile to the north node. So it basically means that whatever shows up here that changes something, that ends something, that because those squares can be radical shifting and endings, then creates an open flow where you're releasing something, because this is the south node, that's letting something go. So we're having a sudden radical shift and change. Something happens where we release something, a control, something we've been holding on to for a sense of control in our lives. We're letting that go. We're going to go flow more into the Pisces North Node, which is pull the oars up, let the water take you in, flow, spirituality, less materiality, more spirituality, less materiality. And so there's going to be sort of like this flow, this ease of shift. Whenever you see these trines and sextiles, it's like suddenly some door opens up. One door closes, a big door is going to open up here. That leads us very, very prominently into an abundant future, because even Uranus is in a sign of Taurus, which is money. So this is very much a financially liberating, gold. Leo is gold. The sun is literally gold, the metal gold. So, I mean, this is like the Lakshmi. Lakshmi in Vedic astrology is Leo. It's the fifth house. It's how you activate your Lakshmi, your finances, your abundance, your effortless abundance, where you're just sort of like in a state of passionate creativity, and the result is just abundance. Gold, Lakshmi gets dropped. All this liberated sort of finances and abundance just shines on you like you're glittering. That's what the Vedic show for this energy. So anyway, so this is like liberating, abundance, change of people's minds. There's political stuff going on. People are very sort of divided right now politically, but with this square to Uranus, and this is right hitting on Donald Trump, MC. I hope he's okay, but some astrologers are concerned about him during this transit, but I think he's going to be okay. But what's really big is going to happen is there's going to be major shifts of perceptions, major shifts of ideas, major change of I want to say perception, but it's more just sort of like major change of what was the story. In other words, the story changes. Leo is very much the story. So there's a big change in this story on the collective. So it's like something shifts in that whole arena publicly because Leo is the leader, the king. And so we'll see what happens. There could spark a revolution. The left might get really up about it. But but the major energy of this full moon is one of liberating and one of expansion of the Lakshmi, which is to liberate us financially and to open up to the abundant. Because when you have a baby, like Leo is about having children and expansion in that way. It's in the sign of Cancer, interestingly enough, which is about babies. But basically, nurturing. But basically, it's about creating something that was never there before. So whatever is in the way of expansion and creativity gets kind of squared and could be our egos, could be that we have an ego opinion or perception that's in the way. And so a lot of people's egos will be shifted. A lot of times, if you have a square to the sun, something that you thought was true gets, um, completely, or shall we say something we thought we were right about, suddenly we're wrong about. And that can happen in this is exactly this kind of full moon where you suddenly see, wow, that was a really not true. And then you're surprised by what the truth is. The full moon reveals things. It's going to reveal some sort of truth that surprises us. But the truth is going to be liberating and it's going to be breakthroughs. And we are headed for very good. The beginning of the year might be really choppy, but after halfway through this year, we're really seeing the taste of the golden era and this new, really abundant time and shifts. I mean, we're going to have Jupiter going into exaltation. And so that's when things just are going to really open up for a lot of people. So last thing I can say here is that this is a full moon where we become liberated from an old sort of unabundant, stuck vibe about life, and then where things starting to open up. It's great. It's like a light shining in our lives again. It's inspiring again. Not only do we feel optimistic with the sun in Aquarius on the whole, now we're really kind of getting a boost of a sense of the future because the Aquarius is about our future, technological things. And this is also technological because media, social media, all this stuff with Aquarius shows up here. We're going to get a lot of stuff kind of coming up through social media, technologies, maybe even some technology showing up here. So of the new age, what we're going to see in the future here, we're going to start seeing some of these things right now, like people riding the drones, like horses. It's the new horse.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I don't know why I thought that. It's come to mind. But anyway, that's kind of what this full moon is about. We're seeing a culmination of efforts previously made, perhaps for creative projects, um, entrepreneurial, relationship, romantic. What else did I say? Oh, also performers. The Leo is a performer on a stage. So if you're an actress, this would be like you would get a role, kind of a full moon, right? So it's a propelling full moon because all the planets are direct. So we're being propelled forward. That sun, that energy of that light, that sun, is just kind of giving us vitality, reigniting our vitality. This is like we've been in winter. Leo full moon is like a little bit of spring and sun coming in.
And I have a feeling in some parts of the country, that's a very welcome
Yes.
feeling, a little warmth and sunshine.
Yeah, because the next month is March and spring. So we're warming up a little bit here with that Leo full moon.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got, I mean, Madeline, you shared a lot about kind of the shifts that are taking place and that kind of surprise energy, sudden breakthroughs. It also occurred to me too, with the nodes shifting, that's also kind of part of the energetics that we might be feeling of transformation and things moving from one sort of energy into another, going from
Yes.
that Aries Libra to Pisces, Virgo kind of a vibe. It's very, very different.
Yeah, I actually really love it when the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is Virgo, because on the whole, people really let go. People really flow more. There's a more meditative
Mm.
vibe. There's a more sort of wanting to connect to, feeling connected to source or soul. I mean, I like it because then people are less critical with the South Node in Virgo, and more and letting go of trying to make everything perfect, fix things, being busy, nervous, neurotic, or shall we say like stress energy. So
Yeah.
I like it. For 18.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, just like, oh, that feeling of stress energy,
Mhm,
having a shift
mhm.
from that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm gonna share the flower for this Leo full moon. And we have here, this is the golden monkey flower. And it's interesting, it's yellow, and we were talking about the solar plexus
Mm.
activation, which is also the color yellow. What I love about the golden monkey flower is, you also just touched on this too, Madeleine. It's about um, letting go of those what if scenarios, like, what if this happens, or what if that happens, and what am I going to do? It's just like really releasing that feeling. So I wrote a couple keynotes here. So it emboldens us to express what weighs on our minds, leading to an enhanced sense of self-worth and inherent value. And again, this so much connects with the energy of this moon cycle. And then this is an opportunity too to just really enjoy that feeling of being present with yourself, with the experience, with what's happening, and then feeling like an expansiveness and a spaciousness from being present in the experience. This also is a courageous kind of an energetic flower. So again, there's that Leo. And for those who are following along and are interested in the Lotus Way products, because this is actually from their flower evolution program. So this was a specific singular elixir that I worked with for about a month. But it's in the blend Awakened Understanding. So if anyone's looking to bring this flower, into their experience, you can get, I think they still have the singular elixirs or Awakened Understanding also. And they're really, really fabulous supports. And I actually have one here. This one is called Radiant Energy. This reminds me a bit of the bright orange of the sun. And it's a really beautiful,
My deck.
it just enlivens it up. I'm just going to spray a little bit here. And since we're all kind of together in this space, it has like an orangey, floral, earthy kind of a scent. So
Mm.
just imagine that. Anyone who's listening, watching, just imagine what that would feel like, what that would smell like. And
Earthy. Mm.
then you're in it. You got it. So yeah, so the golden monkey flower, and I'll be sharing more cards and flowers along the way. And if anyone places an order, there's a link below. Use my name, Amalia, and you get 10% off your first order. So a little extra special something for you.
Yeah, it just reminded me though to add the pride issue with Leo and that square. So, and the value, valuing yourself, seeing your value and seeing your worth, because Leo can be either too pride or not having any pride. They can be very insecure, not stepping in. So Leo is about knowing who you are and knowing the inherent true value of who you are.
Oh, I
So
love that you brought that up.
yeah, if you don't value yourself, this full moon may show that, may show where you're not, it could show up in a manifestation of something in a situation where they're not valuing you. That could be what you end a relationship or friendship that you end, that you're not feeling value. They don't see your value. So just throwing
Yeah.
that in, because, we left that out. And those cards always have a really good way of showing me what I left out.
It's like, it's a group effort,
Yes.
the
It
flowers,
is.
the planets, the stars, the sun, the moon, us, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really delicious.
So are we
Aries?
jumping to all the 12 signs?
Yes, ma'am.
Aries. I have to talk while I lift the card or it will go to you. Aries. Wow, Aries, this is going to be exciting because this is a full moon in your fifth house. So this is a culmination of a relationship, a friendship turning into a permanent relationship, or something superficial becoming more, shall we say, it's full to its full state. It could be that you now end this friendship and you've seen the ending of where it can go, or it now becomes a full-on long-term relationship situation. But again, we're looking at creative projects. You could, if you're Aries feminine, watch out, you can get pregnant on this full moon. I guess men get pregnant too via the feminine, but the woman feels it a little more. But anyway, so yeah, so auspicious new beginnings. Well, these are new beginnings because it's the fruition maybe of an attempt that you made, or a plant that you seeded that you don't see yet. Now comes to full bloom, as it were. And you can now reap the rewards. It's creative projects. Then also with that square to Uranus hitting in your where is Uranus transiting right now for you guys? I guess Uranus it's in your second house, right? It's in your second house. So this is going to impact finances. So there's going to be a sudden liberating of a financial. This is also going to liberate Aries financially in some way. There's very auspicious sudden shift in their finances here because of this a culmination or an effort that is now showing its results, and its full moon shows you the whole picture here. So, and then that's a really nice full moon. And then you have the sun in your 11th house. Wow, Aries, this is really good for Aries. So the sun in the 11th house, it's sort of like social media, networking, publishing, or shall we say, becoming seen, something, a project, because Aries might suddenly come out into the social media realm with the announcement of some sort of new social media project or collaborative, or because anytime you get involved with Aquarius, social media, collaboratives, the tribe, publishing, out in front of the people. So there is some sort of effort for the Aries now to take advantage of an opportunity that's coming in through relationships, through friendships, and tribe members that can really shift their financial abundance. And there's a good chance the romance is in this picture because we're going into soul contracts. So that's Aries for you.
So fascinating.
Oh, media projects. I want to say media projects. Sorry, just so I know, because that's, yeah. Okay, keep going. Yep.
So when you say media projects, what do you mean by that, in case somebody's
writing, filming, writing, like fifth house is all about writing plays, movies, scripts, performance. Now Aquarius, it could be a new social media network thing, like a platform. So media would be all forms communication into the public realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Talking, public talking. Yeah.
Here we go. We have the
right.
pink spirea for
Wow.
Aries. And the pink spirea, this is kind of a playful flower. So this is when you found yourself in a really serious mode for a while, and it's now time to shift out of that serious mode and move into playful. It's also a really potent flower to help encourage your inner child to come out and play. So, you were talking about this sort of creative energy, that fifth house creative energy. Well, think about how creative you are as a child. You had to use your imagination to be able to play, and that play would create a whole worlds for yourself. So this is really giving, like, to me, feels like a little bit of a boost to Aries to reconnect with that playful side of themselves and let their imagination expand. That's somewhat Aquarian in nature, and then be able to create from that place. So the pink spirea for Aries.
Yeah, that looks like the Aries coming out and shining in the light there, maybe on that social media platform, or just in society,
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice one.
Yep. All right. So next we have Taurus.
Taurus.
Let me get
Don't
this.
forget the card, Madeline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got the card, but I also line it up in my charts here.
I know, and poor Madeline's one-handed.
I know. I've only got one arm. I can't lift my arm up. I can do this, but I can't go whoop yet.
Oh,
I know.
let's all send some Madeline some, like, really
Yeah.
beautiful,
Healing light to my shoulder.
super
Yeah.
speedy healing.
Okay. I got to hold the card up. I didn't hold the card up yet. Hang on. Coming. Taurus. Taurus, holding that there for a minute. Okay. So Taurus, you guys have everything of this happening. The sun in your 10th house of career, nice. The moon is in your 4th house of living situation. And I know a Taurus where this is working out for them in this way. Creative projects. She's going to start doing very powerful creative business, making beautiful things with crafty objects, creative, beautiful dolls and felt hats. I mean, she's amazing. And she's looking for an office or a retail space, fourth house, to start this new job, to start a new career with the sun out in the public, sort of because she's been working at home, but now she wants to get a shot more in town where people are seeing her, and is a creative, totally full moon Leo. I mean, some sort of, it's so funny. So she's so stepping out with her creative, wanting, really inspired, really wanting to do this. So this is that energy for Taurus, where they're, and Taurus are ruled by Venus. They're into aesthetics. They like things to be beautiful. They're very creative if you're ruled by Venus. So they're going to want it. This is a beautiful energy for, you might get this sudden desire to redesign your house and recreate some better environment, or make it do design work in, redesign your house. But then with that sun in your 10th house, with that full moon there, you might suddenly get some sort of lucky windfall promotion and work, success, notoriety, more seen recognition that gives you more ability to maybe shift your living situation. Again, you could even move. You may have, in that other new moon in August, been looking for houses, not seen anything. Now you find the place. But this is an exciting, you're passionate, you're inspired. It's around home and family. So there's a culmination. Most likely you move on a full moon, not always, but often it would be that the ability to move now becomes seen. Or the truth, something shows up in your property where you live. There's a truth that makes you realize you do need to move, because of that square to Uranus, sudden moving. Um, um, there could be a mother involvement, because the fourth house is always the mother with a square there. A mother surprises you. That, you know, you surprise your mother, you move, you leave your mother's house. But I'm just looking at all the possibilities there. But that's Uranian square may suddenly make you move all of a sudden, or change something about your living space so that you're more liberated. Something you're liberated from a stuck work situation or living situation. This full moon shows you a way through.
Well, I feel like this flower is very Leo.
Very.
Fire Star Orchid. And
Mm.
the one keynote of this that really jumped out at me is seeing beyond what you've seen so far, because I feel
Mhm.
like that touches in on a lot of what you were talking about, Madeleine, as far as the energy of this moon cycle for Taurus. There's also an opportunity for thinking outside the box and fearless expression. And to me, thinking outside the box feels very Aquarian, and fearless expression is also, to me, a little bit of that, the fearlessness of Leo, but also the expressiveness of Aquarius in some ways, and Mercury being in Aquarius. It's a little bit of that energy too. So, harnessing this for Taurans, it feels like maybe when it comes to, like, I was kind of putting this on a story for myself in a way too with moving. It's like, okay, I've been looking, I've been seeing what's there. Am I missing something? Is there something that I just haven't seen yet?
Mm.
Do I need to expand where I'm looking? Do I need to fine tune it in a way? Does it, like, really kind of thinking outside the box in terms of, being able to see something that you haven't seen so far? So
I
fire
would,
start working.
yeah, and I would think with this full moon, if something shows up where you're going to live, it's going to be really good, like that sun being in that Danishta sign. So if you've been waiting, then the right thing is going to show up here for
All
that.
right.
Yeah,
From Madeleine's mouth to the universe's ears.
yeah. And I think that card really shows like a breakthrough energy, doesn't it? With
It
that.
does feel like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's sort of breaking through a stuck situation, and Taurans can get a little stuck. They're fixed sign. This is a fixed sign, a full moon.
Yeah.
So we're unsticking a stuck situation that's going to then become the new stuck situation.
exchanging one stuff for another stuff.
All right. So, okay. So
Gemini.
Gemini, Gemini, which is, means this full moon is hitting for Gemini in their third house. Wow. So interesting because Gemini is the third house. The third house is media, communication, creative expression, social media, doing a website, a creative venture, writing project. What else could it? Relationship. Definitely the third house can be relationship because you're moving, changing your situation, you're short distance travel, perhaps going to visit a romantic partner, taking a journey, traveling. What else could that be? Communication, the idea, maybe you had an idea in August or in a previous new moon, Aquarius or fixed sign, Aquarius, new moon. And now this idea suddenly looks like it was a really good idea. Or maybe you presented something because the third house can be a presentation, communication, documents or something. Maybe you applied for something, paperwork, and then now it's happening. Maybe you applied for a grant and now it comes through. Or it could be a sibling. Siblings can often pass on a new moon, a full moon in the third house, or it's some kind of a breakthrough with a sibling where you may have had a hard time or problems, and now a sibling and you are getting along, or there's a breakthrough, or you end a communication in a relationship with a sibling, or neighbor, or somebody living in your close vicinity or working with. Again, it could be business. You could end a business. That the third house full moon may be the doneness of some sort of business, or you're done with a social media platform, or you're done with some old venture, which now you're doesn't have any more fire in it, doesn't have more life. That Leo wants to reignite this, or an old dead situation is reignited and brought back to life around these things that I'm talking about. Third house, media, again, very media. And then you're going to have that sun in your ninth house, which is going to liberate some ego here, because that ninth house sun placement where you had a rigid thinking, Gemini, or you thought you knew something. That's a lot of this full moon will be what we thought we knew. Kaboom, squared, changes, flips, changes completely, which then liberates you because it changes your perspective and your perception and your ideas, which then opens you up to something much abundant that you had a fixed opinion about, which was blocking it. So this is very much a transformational house. That ninth and that third house is very awakening, spiritual awakening. That very energetic of the Uranus energy is often spiritual awakening, because Aquarius is very spiritual. It's the higher dimension. So it's like waking up to our energy, waking up to the perceptions you hold and the energy frequency that gives off, creating blockages in our ability to be free creative expressionists. And it could be creative expression writing projects too in that third house. So there you go.
All right. Well, we have the Royal Poinciana for Gemini. And this is like so on point. Okay, the Royal Poinciana offers clarity and conviction to ask for and to know what it is that you want. So, and then to be able to express that. So we have that third house communication, expression. We have that sense of like, okay, we have this full moon energy that's helping you clarify exactly what it is that you're moving towards, what you desire, what it is you want. And then we have the energy of this flower that also gives Geminis an opportunity for and a supportive energy to take on challenges. So like maybe they have to ask for something or speak to something that's really challenging or difficult for them. Use the Royal Poinciana. Imagine it surrounding you. Imagine it coming into your mind, into your energetic, to give you that little oomph, that little, I mean, look at the flower itself. Like, doesn't that feel like it's got you? Like, go ahead, ask for what you want. Go ahead, just do it. You've got this. You can take on this challenge. You can navigate your way through this. It's to me, really, it's quite a supportive energy for anybody who might need to speak up a little bit for themselves and they're timid about it.
Yeah, look at that little white dot coming out, that little white, it could be like speaking, like you're saying, speaking out with something.
Yeah.
And you know what, with that Uranian square, it might be a surprise thing coming out, like, but it's also like an idea. You could get a really good idea because there's some really psychic energies going on with the nodes and Neptune conjoining. So people are very, very open. Their third, or the veils are thin. So people might be getting a lot of like ideas and downloads and visions and dreams, and this is an idea that looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good. Really good. Love it for Gemini. Okay.
Cancer
Cancer.
rising, ruled by the moon. So you guys feel these lunations the strongest. Leo and Cancer always feel eclipses and new moons, full moons the strongest. So for Cancer, this is going to happen in your second house of financing. Money, talent, also whether you have self-esteem, whether you are valuing yourself, shows up. A full moon in the second house. A challenging situation can show up that reflects that you don't value yourself. That's happened to me on full moons way back.
Mhm.
I've since done a lot of work on that stuff, but hopefully that is healed in all cancers. And in this full moon brings you this beautiful sort of results, culminations, financial abundance for them. This is a great full moon for Cancer because we're about to have our ruling planet in exaltation. I mean, sorry, Jupiter in our first house in exaltation coming up here. So it's a good year for Cancer. So this full moon is sort of like the culmination of a relationship. This is also second house can be relationship house. Relationship comes into full view. The full moon brings it into clarity. There's a friendship now turns into a full-on relationship with a financial collaborative, with a joint creative project, some sort of uh, a talented, because Leo over the second house is going to be pretty talented, even though I'm not that talented, but a full moon there might bring some talent to me.
I feel like you're selling yourself short.
I'm not like Leo talent. I'm no Leo, no performer stuff in my chart. Although in my Vedic D9, I have a Leo Saturn. But
Ellie, you performed for how many years when you were
did
in
I?
school?
Oh yeah, I used to do plays and theater. I
Yeah.
love theatrical stuff. I love
Hello.
yeah,
Hello.
all that.
Hello.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, so maybe like creative film writing project could come.
Girl, didn't
I
even
know.
see
I
yourself.
love creative stuff, art, making art and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
so creative projects opening up, entrepreneurial, don't forget, creativity. Somebody, I did a reading for someone's chart and they go, well, I'm not that creative. And I'm like, what do you talk? You're very creative. And they go, no, I just do this. But the mind, he's building things with wood, like really detailed furniture and stuff like that. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's a very creative mind making things. The second house, that creative house is making things with your hands, craftsman. So Cancers, if you have planets in your second house and you've been making things and you initiated something there in August, you could sell it. You could start selling something really, like my son, he's Cancer rising. He has a lot of planets in his second house and he is a very good craftsman. He makes things all the time. So this would be a really good thing for him. This full moon will bring him money, abundance around something that you have created, or the opportunity comes in for a beautiful creative project.
Hmm.
Abundant because you're going to have the sun in your eighth house, which is really kind of a shaky situation sometimes when planets there in the eighth house and Uranian energy. But this is ending a rocky financial. You feel stable now.
Hmm.
So
Well,
good.
Cancerians, you have Euphrasia to support you. And I feel like Euphrasia is coming in to alert you all to no, not alert, to remind you that you have a really strong sense of intuition. When you follow your intuition and you take decisive action, that is when the material abundance appears. That's when that second house activation can really take place. So it dissolves that sense of self-doubt and really enhances your own trust in yourself to make prudent decisions that will lead you to financial abundance. So just a really beautiful supportive flower. And we got that yellow again.
Mm. And it does look like a collaborative, does it?
Yes.
I'm sitting here thinking, wonder what this project's. I think it involves quite a few people there. There's
It,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just kidding, but it looks like collaborative because remember, Aquarius sun, out social media, out in the world,
Right.
all of that. So
People,
it's, yeah, lots of people coming
lots
in.
of people,
Those are people.
people, people come.
Yeah. So that's good. Actually, that looks quite abundant, doesn't it, with that card there?
It did. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
did. It felt really nice for Cancer. All
Le-
right. Leo, first house, baby.
Fired up, you Leos. You're in the sunlight shining on you. Your ascendant, your sun, or your moon. So what does that mean? Well, dreams come true. Something that you would have wanted, something that Leo has been aspiring for, has been struggling for, that it couldn't be any of these things that we've talked about: relationship, projects, entrepreneurial pregnancies, liberating out of a stuck thing, feeling really vital, revitalized. If you get a full moon on your sun, you're revitalized. A lot of Leos might change their image. Where's your Leo? Is your sun Leo? What's your Leo in you? Your
Yeah,
sun, you may
done.
sun, next time I see you may have a whole different look.
Could be. Could be.
Suddenly you get this weird, out of the blue, sun desire to just get a pixie cut or something like that, like something just crazy, right?
I doubt that's going to happen. I tried a pixie cut back in the day and it was not the best look for me.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Well, you might suddenly have sport a whole new look here, so we'll see what happens. And it'll come out of the blue, but also it could be suddenly a sudden spontaneous desire to do something, to travel. You'll be just like spontaneously just ending not doing something, like stop not doing it. And then you just go doing it, jumping in, going for it. You've been holding back on this for a while. And because you haven't had clarity or not sure, well, now you're feeling, because you're going to surprise yourself with this full moon. This full moon is going to they're going to surprise themselves in this full moon. But something could show up in that. Let's look at where's this full moon for you guys? Let's look at this here. I mean, it's in your first house, but I just want to see. So yeah, relationship, partnership, clients. A really, really opulent, abundant client could show up. A very opulent, abundant, what was I going to say? A partnership agreement or marriage, you decide to marry, or a co-collaborative, like a partner agreement, like you decide to go into commission with your divine mate. For instance, my son is a designer. He's starting his own company. He may find a business partner in this full moon, which fronts him the money, sun, that fronts money that can really support you in a creative project. And it liberates you, enables you to take creative risks and to do sort of far out there. Leo is quite, they're fashiony, they're very, you can they got lots of hair. They got good hair. You can see a Leo a mile away because they got a good head of hair. You should see my son's hair. I mean, he's son Leo. He's got this thick Native American hair. He's part Native.
Mm.
Anyway, so he's going to be like, there's this sort of spontaneous breakthrough to be somewhat eccentric, because Leos are going to be they've got flair. They like to, there's this very funny thing that goes around sometimes where it can be cats or dogs, and one dog says to the other dog, when one dog is all flowered up with stuff, and he goes, "Am I extra or are you basic?" And the one, and the foreign goes, I'm you're extra. I'm basic. Like there's some sort of like, wait a minute, like, because this one's all dressed up and the other one's really plain, right? So the Leo is the extra.
Extra, yes.
Extra. Everybody else is basic. So that's what we're going to see with the Leo. They're going to come out and show their flair, their fire, their extravagant nature. People that have Venus, Leo in their charts, they've always got big hairdos, lots of hair. The hair is a big part of their story.
Mhm.
So I think that covers it. A surprising shift in their identity, who they present themselves to be, feeling more confident, inspired, really coming out, really kind of showing off a little bit, but not in a bad way, because Leos are supposed to be show offs. They're supposed to be out in the front getting attention. It's supposed to be. It's the sign for that.
Yeah, I hear you sometimes, Madeline, in my head. And those times when I feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that out, or I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that thing. But um, here we go. We have the saguaro cactus, which is so Leo. I think this flower came out on, I'm gonna look back and see if it came out on the Leo
New
new
moon.
moon, because this is such a Leo flower.
That is exactly the energy I'm trying to describe.
Right here, right here. What
Yeah.
I find fascinating about this is that the saguaro cactus, it takes 50 years for this flower to bloom and 100 years for it to grow an arm. So if you think about kind of like in your mind, what you would think of as a cactus in the desert of Arizona, it's kind of like it got like the one arm that's like this. I mean, think about it takes 100 years, which is so mind-blowing, and 50
Never
years to
pull
bloom.
anything off that plant. I mean, imagine pulling the arm off that plant.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, so I feel like this is a really potentially auspicious time for Leos. If we've got this energy that's really front and center for this moon cycle, this magnifies the purity of heart and being of service. So I think for Leos, there's a little bit of the ego dissolving to, or maybe not dissolving, ego merging to be of service. So it's not about them, it's more about what they're there to express or create and do that's of service to all, and magnifying the purity of heart intention that goes along with whatever it is that they're doing. So this feels really supportive for Leos. And also, to me, it also feels like a little bit of a recalibration of energy so that they can really optimize what the potential energetic flow that exists is going on for them.
Yeah, that flower is a show off. That flower is a big show off. I showing off. But that's the right energy. Divine, that's a divine energy to be out there and be really proud of who you are and make a statement.
Really, yeah, I love that. It's so
Yep.
fun. Okay, Virgo.
Virgo, 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 Virgo. I want to make sure it's there. We can see it. Okay, let's take a look here. What is happening for Virgos? Okay, you've got the South Node in your house. Wow. So Virgos are going through a release and relaxing energy, letting go, because they've got that South Node, what I was talking about earlier about just stop, not being so busy and stressed and critical and not so Virgo, basically, and more Pisces, relaxed flow. And so this full moon is hitting in Virgo's 12th house. So this is interesting. The South Node in your first house and the full moon in your 12th. Wow. That's like really letting go. This is a whole new side to Virgo's about to sort of show up here, where they are really seeing something with that full moon in their 12th house. They're really seeing a karmic pattern that they are now done with. They're really getting clarity on I don't want to say misdirection, but you would say that they now see as a misdirection, or they now see as what they don't want. There's a real revelatory aspect, and then it's also a very spiritual house. It's a moksha house, liberation. This clarity brings liberation to the Leo. I mean, sorry, to the Virgo, where they're like, wow, I'm really set free by this. I've been holding back. I've been trying to think my way through something, and I've been controlling with that South Node there. And so now it's like, wow, I'm just going to let go and just flow, and and end some sort of preoccupation, because that full moon in Leo in the I guess it would be some sort of past life. It's going to be past life holding back, pride, not having full pride in yourself, you know. And so now the Leo is going to start believing in their pride and their value and who they are, and that they deserve, like the Virgo is going to feel like they deserve, because that's the sun in their Aquarius, the ultimate relationship. They're going to feel like I'm ready. So some sort of a friendship now becomes big. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The sun is not in your seventh. The sun is in your sixth, and that's like healing, medicine, disease, day-to-day service. So basically, there's wanting to clear some sort of old pattern so that you can really step into a project of service. Um, and not be controlling and self-critical and self-doubting and negative or something that is karmically a pattern. But also, it's very good chance that the Leo have been critical, or Virgo have been critical of and controlling in their head about the ideal relationship. And so now they're going to let go of that and sort of allow the true relationship to come through. Um, so creative projects, that are very high servicing, that are possibly related to technologies in health or technology or in media in general, or, because that's all social media stuff. The future technologies in health, investing in something like that. But there's a collaborative energy there with the Leo full moon because it's involving romantic partnerships or friends or entrepreneurial.
Well, the Virgos have hollyhock as
Oh,
their flower ally. And this is a flower that brings a softening of the heart. I feel like that could be really supportive for Leo or for Virgos right now. This also enhances the inspiration to be of service and caring for others and yourself. So I feel like that very much connects to what you were sharing earlier about that sixth house activation. I love this for them. Enhanced confidence.
mm,
So such a
yeah,
Leo type of support and transforming relationships through gentleness. And I would say that begins with the gentleness of that relationship with yourself.
yeah.
And and that feeling of unconditional love, just that really just truly loving heart energy. So the hollyhock for
I
Virgo.
do like that for the 12th house. That really kind of makes sense where they're overcoming something, letting go of some sort of karmic thing where it's stopping them from fully seeing their beauty and, coming out and having pride in themselves,
Yeah. And then opening themselves up to love on a whole new scale.
art rather than the mind or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now we are
Libra.
going to Libra, right?
Yep.
Suddenly forgot what sign was after Virgo. Libra. Okay. So Libra. Let me just get this down. Can you see it? Because I've got my chart here. Okay, good.
Yep.
Libra. Okay. So Libra, you're going to have this full moon Leo in your 11th house. Wow. The sun is going to be in your 5th house. Wow. Talk about creative writing projects or media projects or some sort of performing or I mean, that's pretty big there. Technologies in your 5th house, photography, film projects. Um, Again, it could be media, something else going in the chart. Again, a relationship becomes more of a collaborative soul contracted situation comes in here. But this is a relationship coming into um, the benefits of a relationship become clear. Like for instance, there's a friendship or Libra has a friend and they suddenly see the full potential of this friendship that they can develop something into something and that mood or they become or they end this friendship that isn't right and then they are open and new other friendships they see as more valuable or more in alignment with your beliefs because the 11th and 5th house can definitely be tribe people that see that have the same views or there's a word for that. What is it? See things the same way or like-mindedness type thing, your tribe. So the moon there reveals your true tribe and some sort of media creative outlet out into the public. Now, the other thing that can happen for Libra with a full moon in their 11th house is they can suddenly become rather eccentric and rather, like shave their hair off and have a mohawk. So, that kind of energy where suddenly you change your look or you become much more flamboyant, you flare up your image and you become much more of a show off on social media. And but it does like there's this flare up of confidence of who I am or who you are on social media and or in friendships groups and in tribes, finding a true tribe where you can creatively express a project or your opinion. But again, something also a social media platform could suddenly take off. Or a writing project, there could be publishing and opportunities shows up, money shows up to offer a writing project or funding for projects, film projects. I read for quite a few people in the film industry, and the film industry in California has really gone to pots. So there's more independent film projects opening up that are less Hollywood concepts, but more sort of what people really want to see, I suppose you could say. So people are sort of grassrooting it more in film, and it's really interesting, I think. But they're getting good funding. I mean, we're talking about famous people even doing that, breaking from the studios, taking on their own projects. Like I think is it Sylvester Stallone? Somebody like that. Was it some famous actor? I think Meg Ryan was married to him. Anyway, I watched an interview with him and he was grouping some other actors together. They didn't like the restrictions Hollywood was giving them. So they wanted to create much better creative projects. So that's very much Leo full moon in the 11th and 5th, sun in the 5th. It is as the celebrity access. So perhaps Libras now, if I know someone who is a Libra actress, she may suddenly become very famous in this full moon. You suddenly become famous. A project something you're writing, Libra, suddenly gets published. You become seen, known, respected. Your social media platform just is like takes off like a crazy thing. Fashion. If you're a fashion designer, your fashion stuff, you start become successful and you start to show your stuff in the fashion advertising world and you start getting sales.
Well, if Librans just would like a little boost, we've got the red bird of paradise to give them a little bit of fire, a little bit of that solar plexus, inner power. And the red bird of paradise is a flower that really helps you focus and get things done. So if there have been projects that could really amplify somebody's online presence, or they're looking to, share more within their groups or tribes, or like you were talking about, create films or put things out there in the world, this is really very supportive for them to get it done. There's a motivational energy to it, an effortless action energy to it. And whatever you're working on, you're going to have that feeling of passion for the project, and there's going to be that drive to complete it that will be also present for you too. So the red bird of paradise feels like a really strong support for the potential that exists with these creative projects and being able to get it out into the world for Libra.
For Libra.
Very Libra.
Yes, that looks fired up for Libra because Libras are quite mellow people. They're quite even keeled. So this full moon, that card looks like them kind of flaring up here,
Yeah,
firing.
like, hello, we're
Yes, like
ready.
adding some flair. Leo's all about adding the flair. Life is boring without Leo. It's just
Yes.
boring.
Life of the party.
Yep, that's right. Thank you. That's social. There's socializing in this, fun, parties, fun, joy, play.
All of some goodness. Okay, Scorpio.
Oh, Scorpio, Scorpio. All right, let me get that going here. All my tasks one-armed. Okay, back to okay, there we go. Scorpio.
Another fixed sign.
Yep. Where's Leo for Scorpio? Why am I not finding? 10th house. Ooh.
10. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a full moon, some sort of a career, a culmination, something happening in a career, an offer coming in, a promotion. You're being seen, or there's some sort of um, again, it could be creative, entrepreneurial project. And again, it doesn't have to be artistic or creative. It can just be you can run a chocolate company or business, and you suddenly, you know, are seen, or there's a flare up of attention in your work and you're really enjoying it and it's fun, or social things happen at work and but this is definitely a promotional vibe, like a good sort of abundant increase in work, and or some sort of financial bonus can come in. But Uranus is in your 7th house of relationships, so you could quit a job, end your job, and then go into partnership with somebody. That's very possible there with Uranus in your 7th house. And then the sun is in your 4th house. So you could sell a property, you quit your job because you make so much money on selling a property, you don't have to work anymore. Let's say what else? You could suddenly decide to put money into your property or to work from home, working on social media, networking something, a project that creative project, writing project at home, or media, you move home because that's that work on online from home so that you can be more free because it's a liberating, you have a new client there that liberates you. Say you're working in a job somewhere and now you get this client wants to pay you separate so that you just work for that client. Then you can go home. What else? Because this is a liberating. So I would think that if you were in a job you didn't like, that one's over and some kind of a new opportunity comes in. In fact, maybe just on that full moon, you get a phone call from somebody offering you a new job and then you quit your job. And this job is really exactly what you want. It involves a partnership agreement with somebody or your true love, your person that you're supposed to be with, or, a relationship surprises you, comes in, surprises you, and then you live together, you move, and you maybe move your job location. Um, but whatever this is going to be a liberating from a job that you don't like, or something about your job you don't like, or feel stuck, and then a living situation opens up around that. So I hope that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just translating that for my life and my world as well.
I
And
love because this is going to be right there on your MC. So this is good for any Scorpio that are in public or media or out there. They become known, they get seen better, or an opportunity comes in as a result of an effort you may have made, or let's say you applied for something, now comes forward here and shows up in a good way.
yeah, I'm excited to see what that
Yeah,
looks like.
me too.
Um, so we have the pomegranate flower, another very, to me, sort of Leo type flower here, um, which is a flower of strength, a flower of revitalization. So this is I think with Scorpios, because it's such there's a depth to the energy that Scorpios carry. They can also at times hold on to energies that really aren't theirs, that become kind of part of their cauldron of experience. And
Mhm.
this moon cycle, this flower is really supportive of gently cleansing out those toxins or energies that aren't their own. And this could be done through both energetic cleansing, but also maybe a gentle detoxification process of the body as well. And that full moon is a good time to do that as in general, full moons and new moons. This also has a really strong energy of creative expression, self-expression. So again, we're bringing that Leo vibe in with that ability of the Leo and Aquarius vibe in of that creativity and self-expression. So maybe that creativity and that self-expression are part of that shift in the work or career or how you're seen by the outside world with your work. So pomegranate flower for Scorpio.
Yep, that's Leo for sure coming out, that orange chakra, feeling that yellow chakra, feeling in your power. That's what it is. You're going to be coming more in your social media out in the world, feeling more pride or knowing your true value and confidence, bold, and knowing who you are and your value. Beautiful card.
There we go. There we go. All right. Sagittarius.
Fiery Sagittarius. My sun, I'm a Sagittarius sun. My sun is Sagittarius moon and Sagittarius sun, which is interesting because this full moon hits in the ninth house, which is travel. And he just moved to Puerto Rico and he's got performances. So it's like all yeah, it's really fun. So Sagittarius hitting in that ninth house of travel, philosophy, also sort of a revelation of some sort of truth, some finding something out around relationships. And it could surprise you because it's that squaring Uranus. So some sort of surprising new belief. You suddenly have something in a relationship changes your belief, or I suppose you could find out a relationship isn't right and you end it, but this is more not in these houses as much as that way. It would more be a shift in your belief and your perception. And one thing that happens when you travel, boy, is it shifts your perception and opens your mind. So this is like an opening of the mind and a revelatory of some sort of truth that opens your mind up, that makes you see everything differently. Nothing like travel to do that. And so, and the Uranus is in your sixth house of service, and the sun is in your third house. So it's very much media, technologies, film work, projects coming in, media stuff there, making you money, good money with the nishta there. And it's very much a energy of a revelatory awakening, again, very spiritual thing to have there, that full moon there where you suddenly see that. And again, an effort and opportunity that you may have, Sagittarians may have put forth in August or at a previous new moon now comes to fruition. It's very lucky. Leo over the ninth house. It's like some lucky money comes in, a lucky opportunity that makes money, creative. My son is a performer. Leo's all about performing. A big opportunity to come and perform and show your gifts or speak or talk or travel to show your talent. A lot of Sagittarians are musicians and talents. So, anyway, except for me, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so
But
yeah,
you are.
some sort of creative, entrepreneurial, performing, but it can also be your pride gets out of the way, ego gets out of the way, so that you can be your more true, authentic version of you in this arena or in this new opportunity that comes forward to travel and to be very creative and, shall we say, standing out. Leo is all about standing out. So you stand out. Sagittarians are going to stand out and get good luck and a good opportunity. See what card comes out for that.
Well, I just popped over to the chat. I'm just going to
Oh,
rewind for just a hot second because the the actor you were trying to think of, was it Dennis Quaid, Madeline?
yes, yes, yes,
Okay. Thank you
yes.
to Diane. She's one who like she knows her like movie stuff. She knows
She
like
does.
yes, like quotes from movies, scenes, songs, like the whole thing. So
Yes.
I looked over
Wasn't
there
he married to
before.
Meg Ryan? Was he married to Meg
I
Ryan?
think, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think prompted her to say that. So
Yeah.
thanks, Diane.
Thanks.
Okay, so the flower for Sagittarius is the lilac.
Hmm.
Now, I was thinking about your son, Madeline, when
Yeah.
kind of like jotting down some notes for this flower because it's the flower of flexibility, adapting quickly to change, the ability to embrace change. And I mean, that's exactly what he's doing right now. I mean, he's having to adapt and embrace change big time. It also, the lilac also really supports you to let go of control in order to open yourself up to bigger and better opportunities. And kind of when that keynote was like highlighted for me, you started talking about
Mhm.
opportunities. So, you know, bringing this flower in is like, I almost see this for any Sagittarians who might be feeling excitement yet apprehension, like a little bit of the two. It's like imagine laying on a bed of these flowers and they're just like gently supporting you, and every time you shift and move they're always there to make sure that you've got a soft place to land. Like it's like a sense of soft, sweet, gentle comfort in whatever you're going through. So the lilac for
Nice.
Sagittarius.
So we know Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and Jupiter's purple, right? So every time we do Sagittarius cards, we get a purple card.
There is a thematic there. Yeah.
Yes, and that is a Dharma color. So that means it's for Sagittarius, this is a very faded. I think it's faded for everybody, but this really is their dharmic path, what the
Mm.
true calling is. And and I do know that my son was very shifted there. So basically, travel for Sagittarians right now brings them into their Dharma.
Well,
I was
yeah,
invited
ninth
to go
house right
travel
there.
there too, so I might go visit him in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. So he was saying they all really, all the people out there really want to meet me because I'm an astrologer and they want to talk. So that would be very dharma for me to go there and do a lot of astrology work. So
Oh, and I love that you would be there with him too.
yeah,
I mean,
and that
how
would be traveling, doing dharma stuff, like
I love that. That's so cool. That's so
yeah.
cool.
I'll
And
visit
Madeline's
you
also
first.
going to
I'm
be
going to
talking.
visit you first, and then we can do our live
I
together.
know. So everyone who's watching, get ready. Madeline and I
Yeah,
together in person once
in real
again.
life, once
Yeah.
once a year, once every 2 years or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay,
let's see, Capricorn.
cappies. Capricorn, caps. You know that Capricorn rules the kneecaps, the caps, the knees. You know the Sagittarius rules the thighs because horses have thigh. You know, when you think of a horse, you think of the hips and the thighs. I just find
Yeah,
that
I think it is too, especially with Sagittarius. When you think about them, they're always like, I
they
feel
got
like they're charging ahead, but only when they know when it's time to go, and then they're like they move quickly towards
yeah.
that. Yeah. Anyway, that's a visual I have. Capricorn.
I do this funny skit and I do it in front of my friends of I walk as each sign because you want to know how the lion walks, the Leo walks. Should I show you really
Yeah,
quick?
let's see. Let's see.
This is how a Leo walks. I have to get my chair out of the way because so cardinal signs walk really directional, like like that, right? Especially
Okay.
Aries up in the head, but my head chops off so you can't see it. But Leo walk like this.
Yeah.
They're very kind of like they go side a little bit along the edge. You can't, it's not as clear from the
From the video.
it's better in real life. But anyway, it's kind
So
of fun.
wait, so for Leos,
They,
it's
they walk really slow.
slow. Well, I've got Mars and Mercury up by my sun, so I'm fast. Like I'm like zippy,
Right. That
very zippy. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, we're back to Capricorn.
sorry, a little distraction there. There, I was being a performer. Okay.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I had to remind you that you were.
I have it in me sometimes. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. Um, come on, where's Leo to Capricorn? Leo to Capricorn.
Eighth.
Eighth house. So full moon in the eighth house can be challenging because it can kind of scare you, but it brings up some sort of fear or issues around taxes, money, debt, or just joint resource problems. But it also can end all of that problem, which is really good news for me because my ex-husband is Capricorn. So it's really good news. So it sort of resolves some sort of tax crisis, some sort of issues and money, joint resources. And then it opens up a perhaps financial windfall because the eighth house can be sudden losses and sudden windfalls, like sudden money comes in, like a really good opportunity, creative project. Now, a lot of Capricorns have been shifting into working into more of their fifth house. I think they have Taurus there, right? Yeah, they have Taurus over their fifth house. They have Uranus there. So suddenly a creative project that you've been working on suddenly brings you major amounts of money, like super success for Capricorns in this full moon. Very good. Opportunity, money coming through from a creative endeavor that liberates you financially and ends a stuck situation with finances and things being broke. Like Capricorns have been kind of broke because they've had, not all Capricorns, but it's been a little tough for Capricorn because they had all that Pluto going through their first house. So they've had to have major transformations. And now that they've gone through those transformations where they've been less ego, which just means control, they then they've surrendered. Most Capricorns I know have surrendered. And now they've gone into more of their creative fire energy, passion. And now they're going to see some major nice opportunity, financially abundant opportunity to take forward a creative project because the Capricorn is always at their max potential when they take on creative projects. Again, it can be entrepreneurial. It can just be creative thinking, fixing problems, or it can be full on musical. I know Capricorn is very talented musically, and some there's opportunity to become to get a contract or something, eighth house. And then what else? Um, a lot of it could be a relationship too, because it's the eighth house, joint resources, physical connection, sexuality, tantric sex is eighth house. So there could be a passionate connection with a person comes through a relationship. You've got Mars in retrograde in your seventh, where your healing emotional body issues in relationships. So now this with full moon in the eighth house, something comes through involving partnerships, agreements, finances, very auspicious. Something else could be happening in their chart where there's a financial windfall, like they've sold a property, or it is literally getting a job to perform and they pay you upfront a good chunk of money. Um, what else? It could be divorce if you're ending. So you could be realizing that you're ending and dividing your finances and agreeing to dissolve financial stuff, which then you become, you know, your own person, but also there's going to be some sort of buoyancy and more, there's definitely more money coming in. So there could be an inheritance, money coming through a parent inheritance, a tax rebate. I don't know if this is the season for tax rebates, but this is the dissolving of an old, it could be the ending of a, you could sell a house so you no longer owe on a mortgage. So you now suddenly have all this money because you're no longer paying off a mortgage.
Well, what's interesting, I feel like, is that we have the wild geranium for Capricorn.
That looks like a relationship right there.
It does actually with these two flowers. This is one of those things where um Capricorns, they tend to want to have everything to have the perfect conditions before they do things. Like it's not like they'll just jump in. This is the time where you jump. This is the
Mm,
time, just go for it. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. And the reason is that this is a time where obstacles, hesitations will be swept away. And as long as you're staying in a state of aligned action, are your actions aligned with your inner world, your inner motivations, to your heart? Now, there was a keynote written about this flower that I really want to drive home for any Capricorns listening. And Diane, this is for you especially. Nothing is missing. Conditions are right. Timing is right.
mm.
Now get to work. I mean, Capricorns don't mind working. They like working. So that's a big one for them. And wild geranium is really drilling that home. So it's time.
Yeah, this really, because you've got Uranus in the fifth house. So suddenly surprise communication, or suddenly a surprise, a friendship or person you thought was just somebody you didn't know suddenly shows up and is a relationship, because that eighth house could be very much a relationship connection. A friend turns into a permanent relationship, suddenly surprises you and you go into a co-collaborative with them, creative projects. You have the sun in your seventh house in Denista. This is good money. This is a good
Mm.
opportunity that brings abundance. And it is very much relationship connected, soul contracted, mission, twin flame type of stuff. Those flowers look like twin flames.
So I guess with that in mind too,
Mhm.
if you're already in a relationship, like I'm thinking about myself as an
Yeah.
example, already in a relationship with a Capricorn, that is the potential where a project
Yep.
that, maybe from the past or something new that comes up could really be create a financial windfall for both of us.
Yep. It's very much a collaborative, co-creative windfall energy of excitement, passion, creativity, creative self-expression. And it is, because we're going into this new era and it's the age of Aquarius. And you can look at Dolores Cannon, and there's a lot of like twin flames coming into union during these energies because of the North Node and the Neptune being conjoined, which is
Hmm.
about soul contracts. So divine partnerships, people that were created to co-manifest with an opposite sex or the opposite mate, are here to join in union and change the world, because those are the relationships that can really shift reality. And you can look back in time, a lot of, they're very, very positive. Like for instance, I always like to use Paul Newman and his wife. Um, your friend might know. Anyway, I forget her name, but anyway, they started the organic food thing together. So,
Oh,
so
right.
find partnerships when they come in to create a co-collaborative projects. They take on projects that really significantly shift the world, that change the world, because that's actually what partners, lovers were made for. They were made to either make a baby or change the world for the better.
Interesting. Interesting.
That's where we weren't just
Yeah.
supposed to get together for someone so we could talk to. It's nice, but there was a purpose, and in relationships do better when they have a joint purpose.
Mm,
It was
yeah.
all about that. It's all about relationship. Queen,
Yeah.
queen and the king and the queen doing joint.
And learning from each other as you go.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
In
Uh,
their sovereignty. Each person, Leo's about being in your sovereignty.
yeah. All
All
right.
right. Next,
We move to Aquarius.
speaking of the devil, Aquarius. 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 Okay, you guys, wow. This is a full moon in your seventh house of relationships. So a relationship comes to fruition, a partnership, client, agreement, contract, creative project to do with your spouse, or maybe just a partner, new client coming in. That is very auspicious. You could suddenly become well known. You know, Aquarians do have a destiny to be out in the public and to be social medias and people gathering people together and um, um, light worker, you know, getting out there in the world and raising vibrations. And again, very much about collaborative projects with your mate. I know Leo and Aquarius. She's Leo rising, Aquarius sun. So, you know, that's very much she's probably her spouse is in film, so she probably does a creative project in film, collaborate with her spouse, because Aquarius is going to be filmmaking and technologies, photography, all that kind of stuff, media. So sort of an effort that maybe had been instigated with a partner in prior in August now turns into full-fledged. You become recognized. Aquarians could suddenly be seen, famous. That full moon for Capricorn, they could be famous too because they could get sudden fame and recognition with that Uranus in their fifth house through a creative project. They could suddenly get recognition, suddenly be thrown into the highlight, thrown into the sort of spotlight is the word I'm looking for. So Aquarians in this full moon, they're suddenly spotlight. They got the spotlight on them, and it's a very, very positive part of the sky in that nakshatra. So this is like wealth and fame and notoriety, public social media. If you have a social media site, it really becomes very, very prominent, seen, successful. And then that Leo creative project is passion. Could just be your relationship that you have a joint contract with shows up, and you get into this relationship with someone who's been a friend, and you become very passionately. It turns into a very passionate relationship. So anything else I should say? Liberate. This is a liberating. So this would be a full moon in this relationship. Now it could end a relationship. We got to look at that. You could end your relationship and then you're ready in alignment for the next one that's coming in that is going to involve your joint soul contract. And you've just been in the wrong relationship, but you're supposed to be in another relationship. That can happen in these times too. So sudden shock and change, right? So you've got Uranus hitting, which is your ruling planet in your fifth house of creative. Sorry. That was Taurus. So you've got Uranus in your fourth house. You suddenly move. Suddenly a new creative, you suddenly get in a relationship and you move. Or you end a relationship and you move. But there's some sort of shift in your location around this full moon. You suddenly get a project offer in another state, so you and your spouse have to move. So you can do this project. Maybe it's just temporarily, maybe it's just to go do this project. But this is creative self-expression with a partner that liberates you and liberates you from a stuck situation and most likely involving where you live.
Well, this flower is really fun for Aquarius because, okay, if we think about the fact that the sun is in Aquarius and the moon is in Leo, look at this flower for
Oh,
Aquarius
wow.
and look at the flower that we have for Leo.
I know, that's crazy.
There's
Whoa,
something big going on.
that's interesting.
Yes. So we have the night blooming Sirius for Aquarius. This activates fearlessness. The message is take the leap. It dissolves any subconscious limitations and fears that might be holding them back and elevates whatever they're working on in a big way. And so when I was writing that keynote down, what really jumped out at me is, what you were saying, Madeleine, about the Aquarians who are here to kind of lead the way and be the way showers in a sense. So they are working on big things. So it's a
Mhm.
time for them to really start moving that forward, like taking the leap, doing the things, and doing it without worry and fear about the future or the success or any of that. It's like, the courage to take the leap. Courage, Leo. take the
Yeah,
leap.
that's so breakthrough. That looks like breakthrough energy right there, doesn't it? That breaking through the ego that's holding you back, or that shyness. Because social media is like, you got to get over yourself to get on social media. You're going to not look great all the time. You're going to be, but you got to get
Yeah,
out there.
yeah,
So it's like you got to get over yourself and just,
do
shine
it.
on social media and be who you are. And a lot of Aquarius energy is about being a little bit eccentric. Aquarius is the kingdom, Leo's the king, right? So Aquarians are going to serve their kingdom, but they got to get over, they have to allow their eccentricities, because Aquarius is all about being odd, an oddball, being different. So Aquarians are all usually very unusual people. They're usually unusual.
Usually unusual.
Did I hold the Aquarius card up?
I
I
think
don't
so.
think I did.
I think you did.
Did I? All right, whatever. It's
I
only one
mean,
sign. If I forgot, that's not so hard.
yeah. Okay.
All
And
right.
last but not least, Pisces.
Pisces. Watery, watery, watery. You got a lot happening, Pisces. You got Neptune, the North Node in your sign. You got Saturn. I can't even imagine what it's like to be. I have a Pisces moon, so I suppose I should
I
feel
was
it.
gonna say, I feel like you do
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but I'm at 1 degree Pisces, and all these planets are way out the other side. So I already had all that happen to me. But
Ah, uh-huh.
so anyway, we'll see. But yes, Pisces are going to be really going through major shifts and changes in their lives here. I mean, they've got so many stuff. Neptune, if you were born Pisces rising in this time, you knew you were going to go. This is a once in a lifetime transit, Neptune in the nodes in Pisces. That'll never happen. That's a 12,000 year. I couldn't find when it happened before. I was going back till thousands of years. Every time the Neptune was in Pisces again, the nodes never hit it, because it's 8 years in one point, and the nodes take 18 years to do a cycle. Anyway, don't want to confuse everybody, but I couldn't. This is a very rare, rare, rare transit. So if you're rising Pisces, you were here for some big mission, because the nodes and Neptune together is all about divine calling, purpose, all the way. Um, and involving usually divine mate, because we've got Venus in there as well, mixed into all of that. So yeah, so full moon, sixth house. Interesting. This full moon is happening at 24 degrees. Both my sons have their Mars, and they're 5 years apart at 26 degrees Leo. What are the odds of like doing that? And you know what it says
Wow.
yeah, and you know what it says when you have a moon Leo, your mother has a very unusual, I'm sorry, if you have Mars Leo, your mother is a very unusual job. So both
So
my sons had to have Leo Mars for me to do what I do.
interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
And one day it won't be unusual, I feel like.
I know that's true. Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah. It's getting more and more common, more
in
in
this
this.
lifetime,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Wow, that is
Anyway,
fascinating.
yeah, so that's in your sixth house for Pisces. So that's busy, working hard, go, kind of doing a lot. But it's creative, it's inspiring, you're in service, you're doing the right thing, it's what you're supposed to be doing. It's really coming from a place in your heart of giving. But you know what? With Aquarius there in your 12th house, right? You're really clearing some weird karmic thing. Now, a lot of times when you have the sun there in a really benefic place in that 12th house, you're getting over, when you have a full moon there, you're seeing the truth of some issue you've been carrying around with you all these years that are really holding you back and giving you really sort of negative, opinions or beliefs. Doomsday. Pisces can be some of the most doomsday people, like, it's not going to work out. This is well, this full moon shows that where you've been negative, where you've been a naysayer, where you've not believed in something, and you're going to have a complete shift of spiritual awakening and like, whoa, this is true, this stuff. And then that really opens you up, because you then become passionately inspired and excited. You get over some kind of a karmic thing that holds you back, worrying about what people think of you, because you have Capricorn over your 11th. So a lot of Pisces have had to clear their trying to control what people think of them through social media because they think that that's their success. But with the full moon in your 12th house, you're realizing that your success is just to be out on social media, and you don't have to be perfect, because humanity is, we're all a bunch of oddballs. We're all a bunch of weirdos, really. In some, we're all, you know, whoever created humanity, whatever that source energy was, it wanted everybody to be just a little bit uniquely odd, different. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. And so now the Pisces is like, I'm going to embrace that about me. I don't care if people don't like, if I'm not doing the cool thing that you're supposed to do that makes you cool. Like it's all that's over for Pisces. They're like, you know what? I'm going to do where the money, where the doors open. And this is again, shocking and surprising shift, like a shock of success, like a shock to like a success level where you're like, wow, I should have gotten over that issue a long time ago. Like I should not let that hold me back all this time. And it has to do with pride. Like I'm going to use my poor son, since I know he doesn't watch this. So I'm, he's had a perception of who he's supposed to be as a musician. And now I think you show up in service and you're going to be the musician that you're called to be. Like, I got to show up and be this person. This is what they need. And it just works like crazy, because this is actually, you're free. You had some perception of who you're supposed to be, but now it just goes. You're just too busy, too in it, too going. You're like, oh, forget that old thing. Now I'm this. I think he's a really good session guitar player. So he'll probably get work for that now. That's just, in my opinion. And he'll still do live performances and all of that. But because the sixth house is about stuff you do on a day to day. It's work, it's disciplined, it's all that stuff. So it's like, suddenly something happens that throws you into that state, and it wasn't necessary because it's a big shock, wasn't what you thought, but you're going to realize you really shouldn't have been in that stuck mentality around it for so long, and that this liberates you. I have a feeling this applies to your man a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. In some ways, I was actually, I was stuck on your son, because I was feeling into the energy of that for him and feeling that for him big time. But yeah, so I feel like some of that, I'm not sure how though. That's the thing. It's like, what is that? I'm not sure,
Kind of
but
know. We'll see.
yeah, we will see.
It could involve relationships and love and romance because it's Leo.
Yeah. Well, as long as that is, I'm assuming I would be I'd be the other end of that equation.
Exactly. Yeah, I would predict that.
Yes.
My powers of prediction would so think.
Yes. Well, this flower for Pisces, boy, and Madeline, you probably know which one it is, because every time this flower comes out, I'm like, brace yourself.
Uh-oh. Oh, not that one. But that is karmic, isn't it?
This is a big one. Yeah. The black bat flower. And, you know, we've got that speak your mind energy with us again. And also the go with the flow. So, Pisces, are you going with the flow too much? Do you need to actually speak your mind and shift the flow? Like this might be a change up, you know, like you're talking about karma, Madeline, like a karma clearing opportunity. And with the nodal shifts, very well could be. Same with the Neptune placement. This activates strength, confidence, fearlessness, all very Leo type qualities. And I love this though. This is the power to propel yourself forward. So similar to what you were talking about with your son, Madeline, and just kind of where he is, I see this for a number of Pisces where, and you know, my sister also pops into my head too. She's a Pisces sun. When it comes to like clearing out some of these misalignments in your life, you know, whether it's health related or job or relation, whatever it is for you, like really kind of, I'm not going to go with the flow of this anymore. It's time for me to speak up and say something like, this is not okay. Yeah. And really, again, I think it's just really an advocating for yourself, advocating for others. It's got a fiercely compassionate energy to it. I feel like Pisces are very fiercely compassionate in general. So yeah, as scary as this flower looks, it feels like it's aligned with the energy, and the black bat flower, even though it looks a little creepy, Creeperville, is a really potent flower medicine for anyone that chooses to work with it.
Yeah, and remember, Pisces and Sagittarius always get purple cards. They're
Oh,
ruled by
that's true. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
they always get purple
Often.
cards.
Yeah.
And guess what's happening right now in Pisces? That degree point that the Neptune and the nodes are on is at the Gadanta point where you're unraveling a karmic knot. So it's totally right, that card for Pisces, because it's also what's going on. I think if you were born, like if I'm going to use my poor son as an example, I think he was a famous musician in his past life because he grew up already able to play guitar. Like when he was born, he was like 4 or 5 years old. He was amazing, right?
Wow.
So he has some weird ego thing to get over. So if you get famous in a past life, he just was like, why the heck aren't I famous anymore? I remember when he was really young, he was performing. He said, where's the audience? It's like, where are all the
Uh,
audience? It was like weird. So he's really had to get over some big ego shock to his soul
yeah.
to come back again. And now he's really gotten over that. And he's stepped into pure service as a musician. That's the sixth house, where you get over that shock. That's what that whole huge karma
Mm,
release. If you're Pisces now, you were here for some major karmic big ending in this life. That's what this there, because those planets are all hitting there at the unraveling, the end of the karmic knot, end of this karma. And that's this liberating talk. And that 12th house, the full moon is in a moksha liberation house where you're literally liberated from some karmic knot.
mm. That feels like that would be lovely.
Yep.
Really quite delightful. Liberation from a karmic knot.
Yes. I do
Yes.
love this full moon. I really do. I know. Oh, there are a couple squares we didn't talk about. In fact, I totally forgot to talk about them. Did we forget the squares? Sorry, the full
In
moon.
which, in what regard?
Well, I think there is a square from the moon to Uranus. No, I think that's the only square. The rest are all
Yeah.
really positive. Yeah, this is
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yep.
Everything looks good, other than that, which could be pretty tough for some people, depending on what's going on in your chart. But on the whole, this is I love this new moon. Full
I
moon.
full moon. Yeah, full moon. Yeah. I can't say that I'm loving it personally, but I think that's because I have just a lot of fixed sign
You
tension.
haven't felt it yet. Give it a few days.
Okay.
Text me. I want to know what happens to you because it's right in your 10th house. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I know. I think I have to take action. That's the key. I can't just like sit back and expect, oh,
Yeah, but if you do take action, but it could be the result of action you took before.
that'd
That
be
shows
great.
up. That's usually it shows up something the full moon is,
True, true, true.
or you see the action you took, which one was successful. You suddenly get clarity which actions you take are successful, and you start jumping in on them, and it's on fire.
Love that. Okay. Yes. Sign me up for that.
All
That
right.
track too. That's a good one. So, well, folks, I'm going to pop back over to see if there's any other questions or thoughts. No. So thank you for joining us, whether you've popped in on the replay or you've been popping in and out while we've been doing the live. Thanks to those who stuck with us the whole time. Bravo. Yay, you. We appreciate you. Like, share, comment on Madeleine's and my pages, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know about the dates on social media for the Pisces new moon.
Okay.
So enjoy the Leo full moon, and we will see
Sun
you
going to be in Aries? No, wait. Where's the sun? The sun's going to be in Virgo? No, it's a new moon. The sun's going to be in Pisces.
Pisces. Yep,
Okay, the sun. Oh, we're already there. Holy manoli.
I know.
Okay.
Wild.
2 weeks. Sun's going to be in Pisces. Wow. Okay, that's soon. All right.
Well, maybe a little bit more than that because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
we're kind of
Three
a
weeks.
week off. Yeah,
Okay.
3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. Information is below if you want to reach out to Madeleine or me for extra personalized support. And again, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Bye for now.